Take one. I'm Patrick Heuzenroeder. I'm from Sydney, Australia, and I'm competing in the 2024 GB3 Championship. I think my journey into motorsport was always sort of encouraged by my dad and my grandpa's interest in cars as a whole. Dad was more into the racing side, like touring cars in Australia and Formula One. I was always interested in the racing, but I never thought about racing myself until we went to a go-kart track and I was 13, and I just thought, oh my gosh, this is so cool. The smell of the fuel, the sparks on the track because it was a night race, and just the noise of two-stroke engines. And I just thought, man, I really want to give this a go. And then it sort of kicked off from there. Got a go-kart, did 2.5 years of racing in karts, won state championship in my second race in seniors, and then went to Formula Ford. I sort of mixed and matched while doing Australian karting championship rounds and state New South Wales Formula Ford rounds, and then progressed to do some Australian Formula Ford rounds towards the end of the year before going to the FDA selection camp in Spain for our driver academy, and then did well in that, got into the top 6, which then sort of springboarded me over to the UK to do British F4 last year, and then GB3 in 2024. So I started when I was 13, and then from karts to GB3 in 5 years, or just under 5 years. I think, well, it all comes from mum and dad, obviously, our sort of performance side of careers, I suppose. With mum playing cello from such a young age and having a career in that, and dad's hard work ethic with his job, I think they've sort of merged together, and to give us all the opportunity to come overseas and pursue what we dream to do is great support to have from them. Ollie, my brother, eldest of the siblings, is in London at the Royal Academy of Music doing opera, and my sister's trying to get a job as a ballerina, who's in Vienna at the moment actually. But I suppose they sort of followed the musical side of things from mum's background, and then I just got the motorsport bug from dad, I guess, but the career just went right that way, and they're over here, I suppose, in terms of where the family was going. But yeah, I guess mum still likes the racing, although isn't involved as much, just because I think she likes watching her feet when I race. Yeah, I've just got to be very thankful for them giving me the opportunity. Obviously, motorsport isn't the most normal thing to get into, so to do that and then pursue that, I think I hope they're proud. But yeah, I've got to make them proud as well. Day when I'm not at the track for training would be either a gym session or a running or cardio session, so they range from like 1 to 2 hours. Then I'll try and do some technical research on the cars and or racetracks, or watch past races to see what I can learn from that. Also do quite a bit of cognitive work. Drivers always have to be switched on and have sort of that spare capacity while you're driving flat out. So just working on that, and got a sim at home which I can do work on in the GB3 car. It'll probably be the next track we're going to. Yeah, fitness, mental, sim, and then obviously trying to eat well during the day. Not too much, but quite nutritious food. Yeah, I suppose it is quite regimented. I think not many 18-year-olds would do that, like you said, but also not many 18-year-olds are on the other side of the world trying to pursue a career in motorsport. So I'm probably unique in that sense, but I guess if I want to be the best, you've got to, have these things in place to perform at the best. At this point, car familiarity. There's kids like my teammate who's into his 3rd year of the GB3 car, so he knows the car very well, knows the tracks very well. And this year it's really all about learning, so trying to learn as much as I can. I wouldn't say there's any particular challenge at the moment, but it's more just trying to maximise every time you're in the car. Learn as much as you can, maximise your performance. I think it's probably got to be the Ferrari Driver Academy selection camp in Sepang. I was sort of just a kid doing Formula 4 in Australia. And then when I got selected to do that, people weren't expecting that much from me. And I wasn't expecting much from myself. But when I went there and saw the way I performed, and against these kids who'd done a season in F4, because it was in a Formula 4 car, or 10 test days in the car, and then I outperformed them, was quite an eye-opener. So that really made me realise what I'm capable of with such little preparation in a way for that F4 car. But that really gave me the confidence to then be able to come over to the UK and be like, man, I can compete here, because I know I can. I think mental preparation is a big thing. I think driving is 100% mental, and it's really, it's really down to that component. I mean, even David was saying that mental is, some people put a number on like 80% mental, 20% driving, but I think it's 100% your mental game and plus driving. I don't really have any rituals as such. I'll do some like imagery or something like that to prepare for the weekend, or a hot lap or something like that. And like I said before, maybe some meditation, but it's not like a ritual sort of thing. But there's definitely lots of mental prep that goes into it. I think with setbacks, you've just got to learn from them. Obviously, at Alton Park in race 3, I had a failure while running P2. But I think, you've just got to take all the positives, take all the learnings from it, and then move forward, because there's no point dwelling on your setbacks or your failures or whatever happens that is bad, because then you just think about that, and thinking about bad things isn't helpful. So just take all the positives and see what you can improve on to make sure that doesn't happen again. I think anyone that's trying to climb the motorsport ladder, I think I'd say just work extremely hard and be 100% committed to it, because if you're not, someone will be, and then they'll be winning. They'll be beating you. On and off the track, I think on the track everyone changes. You've got that edge as soon as the visor goes down, because as soon as the helmet goes on, that you just become something else, something extremely competitive, that you always want to win and just beat everyone around you. So, I mean, you want to do that. I want to do that off the track anyway. But when you put that helmet on, you really just become, I don't know, just I can't put a word on it, but someone that just wants to absolutely maximize what you're about to do, and you're not going to let anyone get in your way. Yeah, I think setting up the car, each driver prefers something different, and as you get more experience, you might prefer something else than what you're used to. But it's usually see what the car balance is like through our feedback, and we'll tell engineers who will then tweak the car a little bit here and there. We'll go back out, report back what the balance is like, slow speed, high speed, in the middle of the corner, under brakes, on the power, and then he'll tweak it again until we're satisfied. And then you put new tyres on and the balance changes again. So you've almost got to preempt the new tyre and see what balance you want, or what you don't want on the old tyre, then put the new tyres on and it'll correct it. I've been working with David for the past few months, a little bit while I was back in Australia, and then while I've been here in the UK. And he's big on being the whole package, if that makes sense. You've got to be able to perform on track, but what can you do off track to then improve your performance on track? Having his experience and his wealth of knowledge and the amount of people he's worked with, like drivers, engineers, cars, just to get a fraction of what he knows through him will just help me improve a lot. I've already learnt so much from him, whether it's off car data or video or driving technique, but also just the things he thinks about that I don't think about. For example, one time I was not quite braking correctly, so instead of, my approach would be to go out in the next session and try and brake properly. But he actually got me back in the car in between sessions and saw where I was in relation to the brake pedal. And so we discovered I was too close to the brake pedal. So then we pushed that back, and now it's better. So it's just the way he's got a different perspective of it on everything compared to me, obviously, because he's got a perspective of extreme experience. So that's extremely helpful. And that's sort of an example of how he's helped me so far. So my pet is an Australian Kelpie, Matilda, Tilly for short. It was sort of when my sister moved out that then the Kelpie came in because I was an only child at that point. But I'd always wanted a sheepdog because some people say that I'm like a Kelpie just because of my energy levels and my work ethic and things like that. So I think we get along pretty well. Dog's a man's best friend, right? So yeah, she's on the helmet, and she gets lots of running and walking when I get back to Australia. I want to be a Formula 1 driver. I want to be a Formula 1 world champion. And I'm going to get there by just working as hard as I can, driving as best as I can, working with David, and hopefully I'll be able to perform how I need to then climb the ladder to get into Formula 1.